What's up gamers, Cryptico here, and welcome back to Lowering the Mark, a show where I analyze the current and former world records of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe time trial runs to see how these records get faster over time. We'll look at elements such as the loadout, racing lines, and mushroom usage to better understand what's bringing these times down. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell to be the first to know when my videos go live. For today's episode, we're taking a look at another popular course on the DLC side, Wild Woods at 200cc. On April 30th, 2017, the world record for this run was set at 1 minute 20.438 seconds by the Japanese player Naoto. A few months ago, on November 11th, 2020, the world record was brought down to 1 minute 16.754 seconds by Alberto. That's a 3.6 second improvement between records and an impressive 4.6% faster time. Our former world record holder Naoto has broken 16 world records across 6 unique runs and has only spent 2 weeks holding at least one world record. On the flip side, Alberto has broken almost 400 world records across 48 unique runs and has finally spent over 1,000 days holding at least one world record. For anyone who wasn't counting before, he's up to 30 current world records now, which is almost 1/3 of all records in the game, but he just might grab a few more before this video goes live. At pre-release, the world record was just under 124, and it would quickly make its way under 120 thanks to American player Mickums and Irish player Kevin. 118 wasn't that far away as fellow American Bry came through and set some pretty strong times during the first month after release. His 230-day reign on this course came to an end at the hands of Kevin, who took the record all the way down to 117 before Dutch player Esper came in and knocked off a few more tenths. Midway through 2019, Alberto and American player David Fire traded records for a bit before he pulled away and got the next, and possibly the last, second break this course will ever see, and then proceeded to bring the record down by a few more tenths. In total, the record was broken 60 times by 9 different players. Nice. These loadouts are sort of similar in a few areas and then drastically different in others. Naoto goes with the unusual combo of Wario driving the Comet bike with the GLA tires and the MKTV parafoil. Alberto goes with the popular combo of Waluigi driving the Biddy buggy with the Leaf tires and the paper glider. Ignoring the mistake of picking an inward drifting bike, Naoto walks away with the edge and top speed, which isn't always a bad thing at 200cc. He isn't that far behind in the handling stat either, but Alberto just gets further and further ahead of Naoto with his higher acceleration and mini turbo stats, partly thanks to the Biddy buggy and the paper glider. In those categories, he leads by at least a full point in each of them, which will become obvious here in a second. This course is definitely one of my favorites. The layout is nice, the competition is great, and it's really fun to time trial once you get the hang of it. Each section is so unlike its previous one, and the amount of techniques you need to understand make it a pretty complex course that's also somewhat rewarding to play. Naoto starts off with a rocket start and takes this first turn a little wide to grab the first few coins before hitting a jump boost and quick mini turbo on his way to the second ramp at the end of this section. Alberto instead uses his first mushroom right out of the gate and picks up those same 3 coins and a super mini turbo before the jump boost. When he lands, however, he chains together 2 quick mini turbos before the next ramp. Using a mushroom out of the start like that will definitely put you in the lead by a lot, but those extra, longer lasting mini turbos also play a role in Alberto jumping out to an 0.8 of a second lead at the end of S1. Naoto hits that jump boost and immediately goes into a drift in which he threads the needle between that barrel before hopping over the glider ramp to ride out the boost of that super mini turbo before landing and charging up another super mini turbo before the water section. Alberto threads that same needle, but he does it by edge clipping this platform in order to take that turn even tighter before hitting the glider ramp with a jump boost before landing and hitting a really tight super mini turbo to close out this section. That edge clip is what sets him apart from Naoto in this section. It's already tough enough not to fall or hit the barrel on that turn, but edge clipping takes it to a whole other level of difficulty. But it does pay off for Alberto as he's extended his lead to basically 1 second going into S3. Naoto just falls off these ramps and only grabs the boost of the mini turbos he got before them. Once he makes it to the bottom, he just stays on a solid line through the zippers before using his first mushroom to cut through the grass patch and hit a jump boost on his way to the finish line. Alberto does the same thing going down the waterfall, but gets multiple super mini turbos instead of the one that Naoto gets. He hits a few more jump boosts off the ramp and zippers before executing this no item shortcut in which he hops over the grass and lands directly on the ramp for the jump boost, all without losing any speed. That's such a satisfying thing to watch, and even though he doesn't have the speed of the mushroom, he doesn't lose much time by taking it shroomless. After lap 1, Alberto has charged out ahead of Naoto and leads by 1.3 seconds. Through S1, Naoto takes a tighter first turn and is a bit patient with the release of his super mini turbo. After he takes the right path, he charges up a quick mini turbo before hitting the first 2 of 3 chained jump boosts to close out this section. Alberto does sort of the same thing, but takes an even tighter turn somehow and hits a jump boost off of that first ramp before hitting those same 2 jump boosts after that quick mini turbo. Not much to pick apart between these 2 runs, but the lead keeps growing for Alberto even if it doesn't look drastically different. His lead now sits at over 1.6 seconds going into S2. This section is just another tight turn for Naoto as he threads the needle once again before hitting the glider ramp and drifting into the final section. Not much to see here. Let's highlight that edge clip real quick. After Alberto's 4th jump boost in a row, he starts charging up this mini turbo which he won't release until just before the clip. In order to do the clip, he releases his mini turbo, hops a few frames later, and because he's moving so fast, he's able to trick the game into thinking he's still on the course even if it looks like he fell off, thus pulling off an incredibly tight turn while keeping the same speed. After that, it's just a quick glider and short turn before the final section in which Alberto is ahead by 1.8 seconds at the end of S2. The only difference for Naoto on this section is a slightly different mini turbo arrangement and the 3 zippers he hits on his way to the same shortcut. Alberto starts off the same way as lap 1, but once he gets through the zippers, something amazing happens. Instead of hitting the jump boost right before the shortcut, he starts charging up a drift in the air and then lands on the grass patch. At that point, he uses his second mushroom and hits a mini turbo jump boost combo before the finish line. This was probably added to the run when Alberto realized he could pull it off and that it's a few frames faster per lap. Whatever the case, he's only extended his lead well above 2 seconds after outsplitting Naoto's lap by 1 second. On the final lap, there isn't much else to talk about. Through S1, we've got tight turns and similar mini turbos from both racers, as well as a barrage of jump boosts that carry into S2, where Naoto threads the needle and Alberto tells the game to kick rocks. Off the glider ramp, it's just a short turn and quick descent down the waterfall filled with more mini turbos on the way to the zippers just before the final shortcut for both players. Alberto obviously did it with more grace and dexterity and put up a time that was just under 3.7 seconds faster than Naoto's former world record. So by hitting more jump boosts, carrying the speed of longer lasting mini turbos, and successfully edge clipping for tighter turns, Alberto was able to put up an exceptional time on a rather complex course. It definitely wasn't easy, and I'm curious to hear his thoughts on the run. Let's take a listen. What was going through your mind when you set this world record?
I was very relieved to finish the run because I was on a really fast pace.
Why not go for an ultra mini turbo off of the glider and get the longer boost through the air?
It is slower because the glider is not long enough and you'd go way too wide after you land with an ultra mini turbo.
How many attempts do you think this record took you, and where did you fail the most?
I have no idea how many attempts this took me, and I fail on the lap 1 NISC the most and the edge clip on all 3 laps.
Thank you for your time as always, Alberto. Congrats on your 7,000th world record. The best known splits are pretty diversified. They are owned by 3 different players and are anywhere from right on the world record split to more than a few frames behind. American players Jimmy L and David Fire own the best laps 1 and 2, while Alberto owns the best known lap 3. Those first laps each have a few frames that can be knocked off, but Alberto's best known lap 3 is just a hair faster than the world record, and at that point, the lap 3 in his world record run is basically the best known split. It's no surprise that these 3 players are the best 3 players this course has ever seen. Any one of them could string together a pretty good run to challenge Alberto because they clearly have the talent to do so if they own a part of the best known sometime. The worldwide top 10 consists of 6 national and 4 continental record holders. Alberto sits at the top, American record holder Jimmy L is just over a tenth behind him, and David Fire is just a hair behind him to round out the only 3 1/16s in the world. 4th and 5th place belong to French record holder Army and Asian record holder Koa and are just as close as 2nd and 3rd place are. Fellow French player Victronics is half a tenth outside of the top 5, and 7th through 9th place are pretty close as well. Technical, Bryant, and Panda are all separated by less than half a tenth of a second. Japanese player Ronnie rounds out the top 10 over half a second back from world record. The competition on this course lies solely between those 3 guys with a time under 1:17. All 3 of them have the talent to pull off a pretty fast time and get closer and closer to that best known sometime, but one of them is Alberto, which means that it might be a while before this record falls. That's all for episode 36. Hope you found it interesting. If you enjoyed this video, like and share it with your friends, and make sure to comment on which course you want me to analyze next. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.